This is William Tincup and Ryan Leary, and you are listening to the Use Case Podcast. We are broadcasting live from Cornerstone Connect in Orlando, Florida, and we're going to be talking about skills integration. That's where we're going to go with this, right?
We are going to go with skills integration.
All righty. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself for us.
My name's Nathaniel Plamondon. Most people will call me Nate. I've been here at Cornerstone for, it adds up to about 7 or 8 years now. I have to check the math on that, but it's a little fuzzy. I had a little 1 year go off and go work for some other companies, and then I boomeranged on back. But I came to Cornerstone by way of a company called Saba Software.
Yeah, of course.
And I came to Saba Software by way of a company called Halogen Software. So it's a little bit of a nesting doll situation.
We just stuck through.
I heard an boot. Maybe a Canadian accent in there. Did you get that?
Maybe. I thought he was talking about.
That'd be accurate. I come to you from Canada's capital, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Love Ottawa. Oh my God.
As do I.
So beautiful. And I mean, just the way that the city is built and everything's low. It's like kind of like DC. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Capital city energy there.
Yeah, really cool. Flying from Toronto to Ottawa is just the juxtaposition between those two is crazy.
Yeah, and given how close they are, I mean, you've got.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like, imagine you had. I know that New Yorkers don't like to see Toronto and New York to be compared to one another. I put them in. I put them in a zone 100%. Together, but. It would be like dropping, New York City within a 3-hour drive of DC.
Right.
And having those things so close together.
And Austin and Dallas for me, because I'm in Texas.
Sure.
Those two places don't exist. I mean, Austin doesn't exist in Texas.
Right.
It is absolutely.
It's its own little zone.
It is its own little thing. And it's always been that way. Even as a kid, I could recognize that Austin is weird.
Yeah.
Right.
No question.
So, and tell us about your job position, title.
So I'm the Associate Director of Product Marketing.
Okay.
My team specifically is focused on platform level stuff.
Okay.
So as opposed to any one product or thing, it's a lot of things that cut across products. Things like skills intelligence, things like integrations, things like content.
Right.
And just generally the way in which all of the different products interact with one another. So not just integration externally to other ISVs and service partners and custom integrations and things like that, but also how we integrate internally with ourselves.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. So what do people mostly get wrong with these integrations?
Oh, that's a good question. What do they get wrong? I think a lot of people, this might be a little bit getting into hot take territory. We might start hot here.
Oh, yeah.
I think people start to get so spun up about how and where data sits that they often lose sight of what you're trying to accomplish with that data.
It sits in the HRIS.
Well, so here's an example, right? I've got this one particular type of data, and it is locked in this one application that we consider to be our source of truth, our main area of record within our enterprise. But that place where that data is stored has nothing to do with the way that data gets interacted with. I'm speaking in kind of circular terms here. Skills is a very common use case here, right? Where you'll want skills stored in your HRIS, but where are skills actually affected? Skills are affected in coaching, in
performance,
learning,
in everything.
In kind of more experiential learning, like if you're doing like a job shadowing thing or a gig of some kind.
Right.
That's where skills actually get affected. Nobody is logging into their HRIS where they normally go to, like maybe check payroll statements or book vacation time, and relating their skill set to anything that's going on there.
No, it's almost the worst place to put skills.
Right. And so when it comes to what people get wrong about integration is they get so focused on where things get stored, they stop focusing on what they're storing and why they're storing it.
Is that the vendor driving that, or is that the practitioner?
I mean, I wouldn't say that we as a vendor do that, but we're the type of vendor where skills would be affected, right? With learning, with coaching, all these sorts of things as you're trying to build up that kind of more agile workforce. But so maybe it's a vendor land grab thing.
Right.
Maybe it's more of a, what would I say here? It's a race to have more things, right? It's one more thing to have on your side of the property line.
To justify the price or an increase or whatever, we've also got this.
Yeah, or even just for lock-in sake, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
Retention.
we're quite happy to be, the player that plays in the open playground as opposed to, trying to build up walls and keep people in.
I've never understood that strategy.
Walling people out, yeah.
I mean, I understand it as a strategy if you have, kind of the critical mass and now you want to keep them in. I wouldn't say that it's like a terribly like ethical or friendly strategy, but I can understand it from a business strategy perspective.
There is one of the large three, we won't say the name, that at one point you had to, if you wanted to leave, you had to buy your historical data.
So yeah, that doesn't seem, that's my data. Don't make me pay for my data.
Yes. We
Right.
paid you for the application already.
We leased the application.
Yeah, have I not paid you enough already?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we won't go into that too much.
And to set the stage, since we're just audio today,
Yeah.
when you asked him that question, for everyone that's listening, Nate sat backwards,
Yes, he did.
put his hand on the pillow,
Where's this
took
going?
a deep breath, and said,
Please.
"All right, let's do this."
Where's this going? This might get me fired or promoted.
It's a fine line.
It is fine.
So we had a couple of people from product marketing on
Okay.
today. Give us your definition of product marketing. I know it varies across different segments within the organization.
Yeah. So it's funny you say it in that way because I mentioned I had like a little gap year away from Cornerstone. During that time, I went and worked actually at two different companies. I went to work for this streaming technology company that I should have seen it coming the second I got in the door, but got acquired like 4 months after I got there. And then I went for another company that just wasn't a great fit for me, and I came back. But overseeing, product marketing in two different places in such a short time, I realized exactly how different it is across the board. Mm-hmm. There's certain things that are in common across. It's basically about how do you tell the story of what it is that you sell is the thing that I probably gravitate the most towards. How do you define what your buyer is? How do you define the way that you position your stuff in the market? That's kind of the foundational piece of it. And it's very easy to start doing that and then get pulled down the rabbit hole of like, okay, now you run the campaign and now you update the website. And that stuff is really not product marketing to me. It's more about establishing that source code that the rest of the organization can then go and take forward. So I would potentially define the way that we talk about, for example, we've talked about already skills, and I would hand that off to the rest of the marketing organization and the sales organization and the product organization and say, this is the story to which we are anchored around this side of the product. Let's develop products that match that. Let's go out and sell along those lines. Let's market that story, right? So it's about that source code. And I would say that you mentioned you've talked to some other product marketers. For some, it's more art. For some, it's more science. I would put myself more on the art side of it. I'm definitely more of a storyteller, more of a writer by nature. But others are much more interested in the science of it, where it's about, well, where is there a good fit for such a product, and how would we adjust our story such that we meet that market right there? And so it's a balance that you want to strike there.
So I'm going to ask a kind of cultural question. Outsider looking in, Halogen, Canadian, very likable. And it seemed like they were a fun company from, again, an outsider perspective.
I'd like to say we were, yes.
Saba, outsider looking in, it seemed like a taco stand in the sense of like a family-run business.
Well, that's interesting.
And it didn't seem as fun. And I interacted with several iterations of management for years. And so, but it didn't seem fun. It didn't seem like the people were having as much fun,
So, well, it was very easy to have a lot of fun at Halogen, mostly because 85-90% of the company was in one building.
Maybe that's it.
So, we had a couple remote engineering offices, and then we had obviously certain remote salespeople and certain field offices, but all of support, all of marketing, most of sales, operational people, everybody was in the same building.
So you
for
could
the
have
most
fun
part.
together.
So if we were throwing a company event, you had the whole company there.
Yeah.
And, as
I can
opposed
see
to
that.
everybody in all of their 50 remote offices throwing one little pizza party for the holidays or whatever, we had like a big gala because
Yeah.
everybody's in one place, right? Why
Right.
why have 50 remote pizza parties when you can have one big party, right?
Right.
So I think everybody being in close proximity was a huge part of that. And then, there were certain personalities within the leadership team that I think you'll agree were fun guys and
100%.
fun folks. And
100%. Statute of limitations is run out on a lot of those things. So,
Certainly.
so we're good. Went to a lot of those parties. We're good.
certainly.
What drove you? I mean, what keeps you here at Cornerstone?
What brought you back?
Yeah,
So that's
even a better question.
it's an even better question.
I know, but thank you. Hey, if I can get credit from you, I'm gonna take it.
No, that's fair. As you
So I would say like the industry itself fascinates me, and I don't think I realized how much it did until I left it.
Yeah.
So the company that I first left Cornerstone for was a streaming technology company that built like streaming applications for PlayStation and Twitch and the NFL and Turner and all of these huge media companies. And I'd done a lot of my education about the media space, and so it was a personal fascination of mine.
Right.
I thought that working there was going to be like the dream come true.
Fun.
Not only do I get to do product marketing, which I love to do, but I get to do it about this subject that I find so fascinating. And, within a couple months there, I was realizing that, once you get deeper into the industry, like sure, all like the cool logos are up there, but fundamentally the job is the job, and it's not that much different.
Right.
And then the next company I went to work for after that was like an enterprise architecture type company, and that was really different because you're selling to a buyer that's highly technical, and was something that I really couldn't empathize with in the same way.
Right.
And so I ended up in a conversation with my old chief marketing officer, and she basically said, like, we have a spot for you if you ever want to come back. We would obviously have to go through the rehiring process and all of that, but there's potentially a spot for you here. And I realized like all of the, not just the people that I miss, because I love all the people that I work with, but there's something about talent technology, HR technology, I've heard it called work tech. I've heard it with all these different labels, but there's something it's kind of corny to say, but there's something very human about it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Right.
is something that a lot of people interact with on a very frequent basis that affects their lives in a meaningful way.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like, I don't like to be, you guys ever watch Silicon Valley?
Oh yeah.
So there's that, they go to the TechCrunch conference and everybody's up there like, and our photo sharing application is going to change the world, and our data compression software is going to change the world.
Amazing.
And like, I don't want to be up here and saying like, and our learning and development technology is going to change the world. But I do think that, the mission is noble. I think that what we're doing is a net positive.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Who's the CMO?
At the time, it was Teresa D'Amato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic. How do you know that you're successful as a product marketer?
So I'm going to go back to what I said a little bit earlier about kind of the art versus science thing, because for a lot of product marketers, I think they would say like, oh, the pipeline is growing,
Right.
customer satisfaction or the message is like has a high resonance score with customers. There's probably a number of scientific ways to measure that. I would say that I get a lot more just kind of anecdotally when I hear from the sales team that the message that I've crafted is starting to really break through, or something that was really confusing is starting to make sense. I get a lot of validation from that. I don't know if validation and success are the same thing, but it feels like I'm being
Personal
successful,
success.
personal success
Right.
in that regard.
Right.
So I'd say that, like, when I feel like I am making a meaningful impact in the organization, and I'm seeing that whether in the macro sense or like people are just coming to me and saying like, hey, that new thing is really working. I personally get a lot of gratification from that, and so I would say that defines success for me in a lot of ways.
How do you, since we're talking about the position, how does product marketing, and I guess it could be the same as marketing, but how do you work hand in hand with the sales team?
Product team, sales, marketing,
I-
product, customer success.
Me personally,
The list goes on, by the way.
yeah, certainly. I probably spend more time with product teams and sales teams than I do with marketing teams.
Yeah.
I'm in there. Sometimes I'm in on the sales calls themselves, helping out with subject matter expertise, and
Right.
sometimes the messages are so new that we haven't necessarily permeated them to the whole sales force yet.
you
So
need to do
I will sometimes deliver those things personally. So,
Where's the big disconnect between sales and product marketing?
ooh.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a
Don't
good
get
one.
yourself in trouble.
No, because I don't think that this is going to be like unique to Cornerstone or unique
No.
to myself as
Yeah.
a product marketer, but
Oh, it won't be unique to the sales team when they hear it.
well, so here's the tough thing about product marketing is that oftentimes, especially in an industry like this with kind of longer buying cycles,
Yeah.
if I put out some new messaging, a new pitch deck, some new copy on the website,
Yep.
we may not see the fruits of that labor for a year,
Right.
and we
Yeah.
won't be able to directly attribute it whatsoever. And it's the same thing with the sales team, right? If I have a banger of a new pitch deck and I give it to all of them, it may not affect the pipeline or the
Right.
deal closure rate or anything like that for another year. And
Right.
I won't be able to know for sure if it was me or if they had some other aha moment along the way, or if
Were
they've
they
added
good at pitching? Were they bad at pitching?
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think some, and again, this isn't unique to Cornerstone, but I think some of its salespeople get kind of caught up in the way that they've sold and kind of the things that they say.
Yeah.
And so they've got a pitter patter, they've got a rhythm.
Yep.
So then somebody comes with a better pitter patter and rhythm, but it's like, yeah, but this other one works.
It's funny you say that. When I was in university, I worked at a Bell store. Bell is a mobile carrier in Canada, so like working at a Verizon store would be the equivalent. And they had actually a very robust sales training program. They took you out of the stores for 5 straight days, and they put you up in like the big corporate offices. And they had I think they had 2 trainers that they like basically shipped around the country to train all the different people all over the place. All that to say, like they taught us a sales methodology, and it worked really, really well. And I did that for the full 4 years that I was in college for the most part. And like partway through, they wanted to change something about the sales methodology. And I had such a hard time
Right.
changing like
Right.
the rhythm and the cadence of the way that I had told the whole story. That change is hard. Like that stuff gets ingrained. And so like it's funny how much of what I know about sales I know from like this retail job.
Oh, yeah.
But like given the level of training that went into that, and like the amount of, I imagine, mega consultant hours that went into designing that
100%.
sales methodology, like I actually liken a lot of what happened in that retail environment to what happens here in SaaS.
100%. 100%.
I don't remember what the original question was.
No. Yeah, right.
Do you?
No.
No.
Not at all.
The big disconnect between sales and product marketing.
Right. Yeah. So I was basically speaking to the fact that sales can get set in their ways, but like I get that. I totally empathize with that. And so if they don't adopt the new banger pitch deck of mine right away,
Yeah.
I get why they would get there.
I had that same. I mean, eons ago, I worked for Boise Cascade. This is a long time ago, but they sent us out to Idaho, of course, for sales training. It was a week-long training. It was called DEI sales training,
Okay.
and that has stuck with me since then. 20-some years later, which is probably ridiculously outdated,
Oh, yeah.
but I still take some of those tactics, and it's hard for me because I've used it for so long to change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
I'm with you.
So that whole like sales methodology we were taught was fundamentally it's solution selling. Like it's not some new concept, but
Right.
in a retail environment, it's maybe a little bit different from a lot of retail scenarios are like you're an order taker for the most part, but this was more salesy. And then one of the 2 companies, I won't say which one, that I worked in that was not the Cornerstone lineage of companies.
Right.
They brought in this specialist from one of the big consulting firms to teach this new sales methodology. And I'm like, this is the stuff I learned at the cell phone store. I know this stuff. I could have taught them
Dusted
this.
the cover off.
Yeah.
How much are you getting paid for this training?
It's $25,000 a day.
Yeah, I got to get into consulting.
Yeah, yeah. Last questions for me, and it's twofold. Do you get invited to sales kickoffs?
I do.
Okay. Do you help the sales team or leadership map what I call the universe of no's, but it's objection response? Do you get involved to that part?
Yeah. I would say that a lot of the work that you do in product marketing is trying to set up the story such that the objections come up less often to begin with.
Right.
If you've told the story well, then the objections will sort of answer themselves. That's always the intent. There's obviously outliers. And
Always.
We have Slack channels and more informal channels by which we collect, how are the stories resonating in the field? How are the messages resonating? And what are the big obstacles that we have to get over?
I like to call that the universe of no's.
The universe of no's.
So that you can turn a no into a maybe and a maybe into a yes.
Sure.
But if I understand the no, I don't have any budget. Okay, all right. Or we just signed a contract for so-and-so and it's got still a year left on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like mapping out all of those no's, and it's just objection response.
Yeah,
All
well,
of
and
this.
there's those sorts of no's, which I think are more, they're not unique to Cornerstone.
No.
They're not unique to any SaaS company, right? Like
No.
that's an objection you will get whether you're selling L&D or supply chain or whatever.
Right.
I would say that like my role is more in the Cornerstone specific no's, right? Like,
Right.
oh, well, this doesn't integrate with this in the way that we want it to, or well, we're really looking for this very, very particular functionality from our compliance training. How do you do that? Like, that's the kind of stuff that I would be more concerned with. If it's about like unlocking budget, getting the right people in the room, we have a whole sales enablement team that's geared towards that
Pretty
kind of
good
a
at that.
thing.
Yeah.
I have a sort of personal interest in all of that stuff as well,
yeah.
and I'll contribute to those conversations where I can. But I wouldn't say that it's foundational to what I have to do.
Who's mapping competition?
We have a dedicated competitive intel person.
Okay.
Her name's Kate. She's over in the UK. She used to work for Unleash, actually.
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
And then it used to be Betsy at one point.
Yeah, who's over at Forrester now.
That's correct.
That's right.
Wow, small world. I'm
Yeah.
good. What about yourself?
I think we're good. We're wrapped up for the whole day now.
This was great. This was the only thing standing between me and reception. So
Yeah.
Oh well, then that sounds like alcohol.
Oh, that
We gotta go.
This was great.
Thank
Thank you
you
both.
so much for your time.
Hey, pleasure.